Hello, everyone. This is Luis Concepcion from Strategic Profit Line Trading coming to you with the plan of the week for week number 17. As always, here's our disclosures. This information is for educational purposes only. I'm not providing any investment advice. However, this information is not tailored for any one individual. Everybody must understand their time horizon, and past performance does not guarantee future results or success. And all investments and trades involve risk, including the loss of your principal. As always, I'll be covering the news, providing a market overview of the indices, and earnings season has once again picked up. We have 701 companies reporting this week. Have a lot of big boys reporting this week, so it's going to be a interesting and fun-packed week. Following are the results for last week. Pretty slow week, even though the market did move a lot if you weren't prepared for that. However, provided 25 zones, we went 1 and 1 in stocks and options 1 and 2. No entry was 17 positions, and things that closed in our zones on Friday was 3 positions, that being the SPX, United Airlines, and PPG. Here's our outlook for what earnings are looking like. Again, a very, very busy week. I'll only be providing about 20 companies like usual. Other research you can do on your own. If you're interested in how I provide my and conduct my research, feel free to go to the website and find out when my upcoming courses are so that you can learn the strategies that I provide here on a weekly basis. I went ahead and I updated week 16. Like I said, we went 1 and 1, bringing our total year to 25 and 17 in stocks. And I went ahead and I updated the options, and we're total year to date 55 and 12 and took a loss on the NASDAQ. Thank you to great old NVIDIA. So moving into our news for this week, on Monday, first thing in the morning, we're going to start with core retail sales and our manufacturing index and retail sales. I know I've been covering um, what's coming up. However, I've been asked what they mean. However, you can look on the right hand side and pretty much you have your actual forecast and previous. And if you look at those statistics, those will pretty much tell you in the morning whether or not and what dictates the impact it may or may not have on the market. So just be cognizant that on Monday morning we have news reports affecting us pre-market. Moving on to Tuesday, nothing really affecting the U.S. markets. For those of you trading Forex and futures, understand that you have the Canadian dollar being affected in the morning with 3 reports. The British pound and the Canadian dollar as well. We got Fed Powell speaking in the midday on Tuesday, so be cognizant of that. It might impact the U.S. markets. New Zealand dollar being affected post-market and the British pound. Moving on to Wednesday, British pound being affected midday, as well as the Australian dollar after market. Then moving on to Thursday, we got unemployment claims being released pre-market, British pound after market, and nothing impacting us on Friday. Moving into the indices and our charts this week, I'm going to start with the SPX, also known as the S&P 500. As you can see, pretty red week, a down week, and I want to let everybody know from the all-time highs down to yesterday's lows, we are down 6% since March. So if you didn't do anything to protect your portfolio, something to always consider. However, we're coming into this zone that we closed into on Friday at 49.55 to 49.06. Not sure if we're going to continue going down to our next zone at the 4,800 mark. Earnings is going to be a big catalyst on how that happens. So be mindful of that. Moving on to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ also bypassed 2 of our zones last week, filled this gap, bypassed this zone, and this catalyst was NVIDIA. NVIDIA happened to drop 84 points yesterday and on Friday. And you can see that the NASDAQ is down 9%. And if this level holds here, it should put us around the 10% mark. And with all the big boys reporting this week, it might be the catalyst to give us a bounce back up. So be mindful of that. So for the demand on the NASDAQ, I have 16,863 and 16,562. My apologies as I didn't cover those levels for you on the SPX. Let's go back real quick. That level I have for you on the S&P 500 is 49.55 to 49.06. You might as well call it 4,900 even. And then the next level of demand I have for you starting is going to be right below the 4,800 mark at 47.92 to 46.84. And on the supply side on the S&P 500, the first level I have for you is roughly at the 5,200 mark. And charts are not cooperating. 5,200 to 5,212, and then another level here at 5,241 to 5,256. And that's going to do it for the SPY and the NASDAQ. Moving on to the Jones. As you can see, the Dow Jones is starting to base, holding here. We have a level here at 374.67 to 370.18 on the demand side. And on the supply side, we got 395.22 to 399.36. Moving on to the rut. So the rut, the same level that has been holding for us all year has held and now finally has broken through and continued to the downside. And we've been waiting for this level for a very long time. That level for you is going to be 1887 to 1847. And I'm not changing this level because it hasn't been broken. And that's good on the supply side. That's going to be 2067 to 2138. Now, moving into earnings this week. Starting with Monday, we got Verizon. And on the supply side, my mouse is going crazy today. On the supply side, I got 42.98 to 44.53. And on the demand side, 34.65 to 33.30. And Verizon's reporting first thing Monday morning, so be aware of that. Next company I have for you is GM. GM is reporting Tuesday morning before the market. So on the supply side, I got 50.11 for you to 55.43. And on the demand side, 36.62 to 34.18. In the event of an overshoot, got another level here at 28.68 to 27.34. Next company, also reporting Tuesday morning, UPS. So for UPS on the demand side, I got 138.98 to 133.24. And on the supply side, 166.37 to 172.79. Next company I have for you is Lockheed Martin. So on the supply side, 478.64 to 484.13. And if we have an overshoot, we got 494.64 to 508.54. For those of you who are trading Lockheed Martin, just understand that their spreads are a little wide. So be cognizant of that when you're placing your trades. On the demand side, 407.85 to 388.51. Next company I have for you is Pepsi, also Tuesday morning. So on the supply side, 176.28 to 182.29, and on the demand side, 158.60 to 154.91. Next company is Spotify. On the supply side, I got 348.79 to 388.54, and on demand side, 208.29 to 201.86. Still working on Tuesday, we got Tesla aftermarket. So for Tesla, on the demand side, we got 146.52 to 137.63. And then we got, in the event of an overshoot, we got 126.08 to 115.11. On the demand side, this is for my more aggressive traders. We got 186.60 to 190.08. However, this 206.26 to 217 is where Tesla should head next if it happens to have positive earnings. Visa. So on the demand side, 266.09 to 261.84. On the demand side, in the event of an overshoot, the next level I have for you is all the way down at 229.57 to 225 even. Next company is Texas Instruments. And these are the levels that have been holding Texas Instruments for quite some time. On the demand side, 155.64 to 151.29. In the event of an overshoot, you got another level right below it at 149.94 to 143.05. On the supply side, 176.71 to 181.39. Just understand that this level has worked a couple of times. Moving on to Wednesday in the morning, Boeing So for Boeing, on the demand side, 148.14 to 138.91, and on the supply side, 222.61 to 233.57. AT&T, for those of you who want to trade a cheaper stock, as you can see, this level just bounced this week off of this level. And on the demand side, 15.96 to 15.45. On the supply side, 19.43 to $20 even. In the event of an overshoot here, we got 14.47 to 11.52. Next company I have for you is Humana. On the demand side, 301.78 to 285.22, and on the supply side, 447.61 to 474.52. Meta, another big boy reporting this week. First level I have for you is 468.29 to 451.10. In the event of an overshoot, next level, stopping level on Meta is going to be 400 to 387.60. Next company I have for you is IBM. Got no supply for you in IBM. First demand zone I have for you is 167.81 to 164.85. This company I got for you is Chipotle. As you can see, all-time highs was 30.23.98. First demand zone I have for you is 27.97 to 27.20. In the event of an overshoot, you got 25.02 to 24.39. Be cognizant. I understand I'm providing you this week. However, if you can look at this right here on June 25th, which is 2 months from now, they're doing a 50-to-1 split. So you can trade this now, but for those of you who want to own it, you might want to wait till June because the stock is going to be, instead of 28.69, roughly around $55, $57. So from a capital perspective, just trade this until it splits if you want to own it. Now, moving on to Thursday, we got Royal Caribbean. First level I have for you is 108.39 to 166. In the event of an overshoot, you got a level at 96.21 to 89.50. Next company I have for you is Caterpillar. On the demand side, first level I have for you is 292.63 to 286.19. Moving on to Thursday afternoon, we got Microsoft. This level has been holding for us for quite some time, depending on what some of these companies do early on in the week. Microsoft might break this zone. However, if it holds again for the fifth time, we got 426 to 393.32. For my more conservative individuals, you got 378.27 to 362.41. Also reporting Thursday afternoon, you got Google. So for Google, no supply in Google at the moment. First level I have for you is 143.18 to 140 even. And in the event of an overshoot, we have this level that's previously worked at 133.48 to 129.56. Moving on to Friday, we got XOM. So with everything that's going on overseas, oil and gas have been skyrocketing. So on the supply side, I have a small level for you here. If I can get this chart to work. We got 122 to 122.43. And on the demand side, the first level I have for you is 114.71 to 113.37. Moving on to a sister company of Exxon, we got Chevron. And this is the last company I have for you this week. That supply zone is coming in at 167.27 to 170.17. And on the demand side, we got 142.83 to 139.57. That's gonna do it for us this week with the charts. Here you go is my contact information. Feel free to go check out the website for my upcoming classes and courses, or if you're interested in receiving more information, as such as I provide the Magnificent Seven and email you updates on that. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and please hit that subscribe button. For those of you who are not doing so already, feel free to follow me on social media on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Till next time, till next week, happy trading and have a plan.